Hiya. So it's Mental Health Awareness Week this week. So I'm going to share my experience around my own personal mental health issues with some hope that um, it may help people. People might be able to identify or seek the necessary help to get better mental health. Um, it's a it's a funny one. Mental health. If somebody came up to you and went, "Hey, Dad, go jump off that bridge over there," you think, nutter. What do you mean, go jump off that bridge over there? But when it's your own thoughts in here, when it's your own thoughts telling you to do this stuff to yourself, that could be any form of self harm, um, taking substances, cutting yourself, injuring yourself, you know, bulimia, anorexia, eating too much, not eating enough. It's quite hard to distinguish that stuff when it's coming from your own thoughts and your own internal voice. And because my mental health, um, my illnesses live in here and they talk to me in my own voice. And I've always trusted that voice. Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I trust myself? Why wouldn't I trust my own thoughts? I think everybody does trust their own thoughts, that internal dialogue that goes on. But for me, it got to a point with substances as well, because I'd look at myself in the mirror and I think, I looked all right, didn't look bad. But the reality was, on the outside I was dying. But my twisted perception tell me, actually, Daz, you're all right. You don't look that bad. I remember turning up at my uncle's funeral, and my mum turning round and saying to me that I looked worse than my uncle that were laid out in a coffin. You know what I mean? That just died. But I thought I looked well. I was suited. I was booted. Shoes polished. My perception, the lies that my head told me, were completely different to the reality of what were going on. I'll share with you a few instances of my sort of mental illness. There was a point in my life where I've had various sort of psychotic episodes. One of these was where I barricaded myself in my house. I turned the electricity off. I took the light bulbs out of the sockets, because that's how the aliens were getting him, and I believed it. You know what I mean? In that state of mind that I were in right then, I believed that to be true. I believed that to be real. There were no rational comprehension of aliens don't exist. Why would they be targeting me if they did exist? Why would they come in through electricity? If an alien's going to come in through the electricity, through the cabling, through the wires, turn the electricity off and taking the light bulb out weren't going to stop them. But I had no rational thought, no concept of reality, because it was my reality. That's what I was dealing with. So I was fearful. I was scared. I didn't open the letters from the postman that come through that had sort of Yorkshire Electricity on them, Npower or whatever it was, because if they weren't getting in through the electricity and the light bulbs, they were getting in through the letters because they were clever. So I ended up arming myself with a 3-foot samurai sword through fear, and ended up attacking somebody that didn't need attacking, because that psychosis felt absolutely and completely real to me. Another instance where paranoia. I suffered with paranoia. So I'd do everybody else's thinking for them. I knew what they were thinking. I knew what they felt of me, and it was usually derogatory. because I had such low self-esteem, self-worth of my own, I believed everybody else were feeding into that stuff, and that's what they were thinking about me. So I could walk into a room with 100 people and feel the worst person there. But we're all that poison parrot, that negative salesman that were going, Daz, you're useless, you're worthless, you're never going to amount to anything, nobody likes you, blah, 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 blah. And this stuff had were other people's tapes when I was growing up, which then became my tape that I played over and over in my head, and that if you say something long enough, you start to believe it. So I believed I had nothing to offer the world, and there were times where I had a breakdown. I'm a bit fuzzy, but I was told, I stripped off in the back garden, crying uncontrollably, rocking, don't even know what I was saying. So I got taken in a car to Wakefield Hospital, and every car light that were coming for me. It all started getting into conspiracies. They were all, when somebody locked me in the car to go pay for some petrol, they were then against me. You know what I mean? Everybody's out to get me. Everybody wants to kill me. All these thoughts. And then when I arrived at the hospital, my thinking was, right, well, that security guard, I'm going to take him down. I'm going to take that bloke because he's going to come for me as well. He looks a bit dodgy. And the whole world were against me. But I was in that state of, I believed that stuff. I believed it. There were times in my life when I was on antipsychotic medication, and I had auditory hallucinations, what they call, the voices. So like I'm sat here talking to you now, it was like somebody was sat outside of me, chatting. So it wasn't like the internal dialogue stuff that was going on in my mind, where low self-esteem, I'm less than, you're better than me. It was very confusing. You imagine getting shouted your name and you're a wanker, or you're this, or do this, Darren, or whether it's whispering at you or shouting aggressively at you, and it's coming from over there. You're turning, you're looking, and to start with, I thought, flipping out, I'm mad. There was some rational thought there to start with. Like, who's saying that? Because there had to be a tangible, sort of logical explanation for what was going on, that why we're hearing these voices. Because obviously there was somebody outside of self that wanted to talk to me. But then when I discovered there was nobody there, and I still couldn't explain it, it got to a point of being quite rational about that, to a point of listening to those voices, because they wouldn't shut up, and they wouldn't stop saying derogatory things about me. They wouldn't stop saying he wants to have a fight with you. They wouldn't stop saying he's going to kill you. Wouldn't stop saying your missus is cheating on you. All this stuff to get me in a state. Scary times, and there's people out there, and why I'm sort of sharing a bit of my journey with you is because there's people out there that are undiagnosed, that or have been diagnosed, and they're a lot worse off than I was at that point in my life. You never know what's going on for somebody up here. I can be all laughing, or smiling, or jokey, or confident, but inside some days my self-esteem's on the floor. I've got full of self-doubt, think that nobody likes me, and it's hard dealing with mental health issues. I'm a hell of a lot better than I were. I can get rational thought back most of the time now. Normally affects me when I'm hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. But I don't hear auditory voices anymore. I came off the antipsychotic medication, and I'm not advocating this for everybody, But I came off that stuff and put the substances down, and mine, thankfully, cleared up. The internal dialogue can still go on sometimes, but the auditory stuff, the auditory hallucinations, that came to an end. But I still do take medication around depression. And it annoys me, you know, when people are saying depression, oh, you're not depressed, he's just lazy. He's not depressed, he's just sad. He's just got this going on for him, so he's sad. No, depression is completely a different thing. If I was sad and something needed doing, I can snap out of it. I can get that internal motivation to go do what needs to be done. Now, depression is completely different, because all my strength is zapped, all my motivation has gone, all my willingness to use all these tools that I have to pull myself out of depression are gone. It's that can't be asked, because I've got nothing internally, no internal moxie, no internal juice to go, right, I need to sort this out. Because my thinking goes skew with as well with depression. I can't think my way out of my own problem, because I'm that low and within self. And it's a horrible, horrible place to be, you know, because you can't see, you're either oversleeping or not sleeping enough. Hygiene goes out the window. Your diet goes to shit. Then, so if you're not getting the right fuel into your body, then your head's even more messed up, because your body needs fuel to to repair itself and to be able to think clearly. You know, look at omega-3 oils and stuff like that through fish. Your brain needs this fuel. So I've got a chemical imbalance within my brain, which needs some medication to help spark those chemicals off. You know, so I can't just, somebody suffering from depression can't just think the way out of it. You know, I got to a point with depression, substance misuse, auditory hallucinations, drug-induced psychosis, to a point where I committed suicide. I attempted to commit suicide. And if it wasn't for somebody phoning an ambulance, me managing to sort of get outside, which I don't know why I keep doing this, but I found half naked again, and the paramedics that got me to hospital and worked on me, you know, the doctors that worked on me, and then I was in ICU for 3 days, not knowing what the hell had gone on, because I couldn't. It seemed like the only rational thing to do was to kill myself, and that's a horrible, horrible, shit place to be in, when you think your only option is to kill yourself, because you'll be better off and your family and loved ones will be better off. And when I woke up in St James's Hospital, so I woke up sort of September 7th, September 8th, 2017, because it was September 4th where I tried to take my own life. I were in ICU, you know, family were about the bed and stuff, and I'm trying to tune heart monitors in for the TV picture, because all I could hear were Home and Away playing in the background. Really surreal, really weird. But then having a 20-minute mental health crisis team assessment on the ward, and being told that, yeah, you're all right, because I could articulate myself okay. And there is, you know, there's wonderful work that goes on within the NHS around mental health, around substance misuse, you know, statutory sector, but it falls short sometimes as well. I mean, thankfully, it sparked my journey into getting into long-term recovery and becoming abstinent from the substances that weren't helping my mental health and my depression and my hygiene and my criminality and all that stuff. So all I want you folks to know is you're not alone. You're not the first person that's had mental health problems. You won't be the last, but we don't have to be on our own. I know I felt isolated and felt I couldn't trust anybody, and nobody knew what I was going through. But until I came to a point where, for me, I had to access help, or I was definitely going to die next time. You know, for some reason, I was kept alive. I don't know what that reason is, but I'm bloody glad that the people worked on me and kept me alive, because I've got such a great life today. You know, I've got an amazing life today, from wanting to kill myself, from having loads of complex needs with mental health, substance misuse, living on the streets, criminal record, family disowning me. You know, to be now sat here on a phone that's not in cash converters, in a house with a loving partner, with a dog, with all you folks, my friends, me people at Spartan, the Spartan warriors, I'll be able to be a productive member of society and share my lived experience with people. So hopefully it'll help others. You know, I don't think there's any better advocate for people that suffer than somebody who's suffered himself. Yeah, so just reach out. I'm here to listen. If I can't support you, I've got links to people that can. So yeah, please get involved. You know, I've not done this on my own. That's what I want to get across. I've not become sort of mentally stable. I've not become abstinent from substance misuse. I've not worked on my self-esteem. I've not become a productive member of society on my own. I am all these things today. I'm a dad that I should have been. I'm a granddad to me three granddaughters. I'm a loving partner, which I could never be. I love myself. You know, I'm kind and compassionate, and give myself and others some forgiveness, because we're human who haven't made mistakes. So if anybody takes anything from this, please give it a like, please give it a share, please give me a call if you're struggling. You know, we've got